Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
Welcome to this week's episode of First and Goal. This week we've got Primetime 000. We've got D-Muse filling in. We've got Noel and Figs coming in at the last minute, saving the day because Tiny jumped ship. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
Figs looking really comfortable over there.
Got the couch life going on right now.
All right. So topic one, and it's kind of fitting that Figs ends up on our episode this week because topic one is kind of what's going on in the SML. If you look at the standings right now, things are kind of crazy. You've got Dan and Paulie both not winning their divisions right now. You've got Figs, Finns, Field, all possible playoff teams. How do you explain the unusual standings this year? And we'll start with you, Prime.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the elite guys, we're gonna call Dan elite. We're gonna call Paulie very close to elite. I think those guys got a little complacent. They see a guy who they normally beat, and maybe they just aren't as good as they think they are. Maybe Dan, he comes in, he plays a Future Empire. Future's a good player. You have an off game. You're not as focused, not as dialed in. You're going to lose those football games. It's a little bit of late cycle blues as well. We're in season 6 or 7 at this point. So some people who are normally, like Dan, putting in 800, 900 hours, he might be getting a little worn out now of this game. So he's on cruise control through the regular season, whereas in the past, he wasn't so much. Now, as for somebody like Fig Newton, I think he's talented. A lot of these guys are all talented in our league, even the bottom feeders. But the problem is they throw 40 or 50 interceptions in a season. And what Figs has done a great job of is limit those turnovers. And I think somebody like Tiny Titan could do the same thing. Mike FML could do the same thing. Is don't throw 50 interceptions and you're on a good start. And also, a side note, don't trade away your best players. And you might be even better.
All right. Demius, what do you think?
I think a lot of the changes that we're seeing right now in the standings are really due to schedule and a little bit of not only strength of schedule, but like sort of a change in everyone's mindset, really. The NFC, if you take a look at Fig and Field in the Bucks, Field's beaten no teams that are above 500, so he's 7-8 right now. All 7 of those wins came against teams that are not 500 or better. Fig beat one team that was above 500. So it's not the greatest strength of schedule there. And the 7th spot in the NFC is being competed for. It's going to, 500 is probably going to get in. 8-8 will get you in. I think the level of competition sort of dropped off at the bottom there. And in the AFC, you had Future, Matt. Those two teams took big steps forward this season and are looking better than they had the last couple seasons, which makes the AFC more difficult, and I think that's reflected as well. And if you take a look at Dan and Paulie's schedule, all of their losses are to teams that are above 500, with the exception of DW, Deathwish, who beat Paulie, I believe. He's the one team, but he's 7-8, and he's no pushover. I've played DW in Primer a few times, so I think a lot of it is circumstance. There's a little bit of the late cycle blues, as Prime mentioned, because that's a lot of the reason you'll see some teams fall off, or some teams that were struggling a bit sort of take a step forward if they're staying more focused. But I think a lot of it's just due to the schedule and the strength of the conferences this year.
Right. Noel, what do you think?
Yeah, as far as the NFC goes, I think they hit the nail on the head with Michigan Future having a great season. Matt's got wins over Dan, Faz, and 2 wins over Paulie in the same season. As long as we've been in the AFC North, I haven't seen Matt sweep Paulie in any sort of season. This is the first time I've seen that happen. Future's gotten wins over Neats, Paulie, Dan, and Matt. So Future's even had an even better season. So not so much that, Dan and Paulie taking a step back, as much as they've had a really good season as they finally put their team together. As far as the NFC goes, we might have a 7-9 team in the wild card. So I'm not really saying a whole lot. No more than Cipli's actually. As far as looking at statistics, he actually said he's like the most consistent player of all those teams that could make the playoffs. Emily Leverett, how do you say his name? at 27 touchdowns and only 15 interceptions. So, like Prime said before, but taking these interceptions and dropping them down significantly was the big success as far as what Figs did. And then every other team that's in the wildcard race has 30 more interceptions, with the exception of Fins. So, I mean, all these teams are still throwing an enormous amount of interceptions and somehow are in the playoff hunt. So I don't really have anything to say nice about the NFC's wildcard. Hope Figs gets in because he's the only one that's under control.
All right. Figs, how about you? Let's save the best for last.
I'll start with the AFC. I feel like Dan, everyone's kind of shitting on how he's played, but you look at his numbers, he's still got a great defense, great offense. I mean, he's like third in points against, and a lot of his losses are pretty close games. He lost to Mad Bomber by like a few points. I think Cardinals, it was only within a touchdown too. So I feel like he's making the playoffs. I think everyone's kind of shitting on him a little too much. I feel like he could easily still win another Super Bowl. I think with Paulie, he's been kind of doing the boat a lot, so it's kind of summertime for him, where I could see he's kind of not. He's still trying, just not quite as motivated. And then as far as NFC, like what Demu said, I definitely had an easier schedule. But I was 0-16 last season. I mean, I lost to everybody. I definitely improved a lot. But, I mean, I almost beat Faz. I mean, I definitely have an easier schedule. That's why I got where I am. But I know last season, 10-6 didn't even make the playoffs. And this time, could be 7-9 makes it in. So it's definitely been a little easier road than normal seasons.
Oh, for sure.
Well, for reference, I think Figs had a pretty bad season the season before last season, so he probably had a fourth place schedule the year before that as well.
Yeah,
maybe,
I was 3-13 the season before, so I definitely turned it around, but it's been a little bit of an easier schedule.
Well, the big thing for you, I've noticed, is the interceptions are down, and that's huge.
I threw like 60 last season. I kind of I was always trying, but I was just kind of trying to get Hollywood Brown to kind of get the superstar, which I got him. Helped me out a little bit.
All right. Well, let's move on to topic 2 then. Topic 2, a lot of people talking about the run game being broken and running is cheese and all this. What do you guys think? Is it really that bad? And we'll start with you, D-Muse.
I think it is that bad. I think you can just take a simple look at the stats, the yards per carry, all the yards that are being run for in the league. I think the real issue with it, I mean, you're going to have breakaway runs. That's always been a part of Madden if you have a fast running back or if you can get around the corner. So I'm not really discussing that, but you'll see a lot of runs up the middle where there's the animations where the running back will fall forward 2-3 yards every single time he gets tackled. So even if the defense is in the right position and they make the right call, they fill the gap, you'll still see the running back just sort of take the defender with them and still fall forward for 2 or 3 extra yards. And I think that's definitely an issue. I mean, if you get 3 yards twice and 4 yards, it's 10 yards. So you just fall forward 3 straight runs and you can get a first down pretty easily. And a lot of guys are doing a lot more damage than that. You see like people averaging 8 yards a carry. So I definitely think it's broken. I think part of it too is everyone's best player is their running back, or a lot of teams, their best player is their running back. You got a lot of 99 overall players out there because they're easy to develop and easy to get X-factored and superstarred and devved up. So I think that's part of it too. They're just developed by this point in the cycle, and they're just better players than other positions.
All right. Noel, what do you think?
I think it's broken, but no more than it usually is. It's usually been broken every single season I've been playing Connected franchise. And this season, I would actually say it's probably down a little bit. I know there's been a recent update or what it is. There's only one person that's even down more than 7.5 yards per carry, and that's Faz. And that's with Dalvin Cook at 8.9. So, I mean, I think you got to see what he can do with Dalvin Cook. It's pretty ridiculous, but he's the everybody else that's in the league. They're averaging about 7 yards per carry. The yards are actually kind of down. The touchdowns are just about where they've been in the past, which is roughly between 21 to like 28, I think. So it really hasn't been a whole lot different than what we've seen before. I mean, compared to the earlier seasons with Devon Evans or whatever, He's got 34 touchdowns and 2,300 yards rushing. I mean, in last season, watching Freddie Golden go for 3,500 yards rushing, it's not a whole lot different.
All right, that makes some good points there. Figs, what do you think?
I definitely agree with Noel saying it's not really different from last season, but it should be it's it's still like I think I'm averaging a little over 5 yards a carry, which is considered absolutely terrible. Like I think I'm maybe not last in the league, but pretty close. In a normal NFL, I mean, averaging over 5 yards a carry would be considered pretty good. But you're never really going to get the game right. I wish they would tone down the abilities just a little. Like that's the one ability I think is just like it doesn't look realistic. Seeing the jukebox and the spin, it's just it's usually a little like in the open field. It's gone. It's unstoppable.
Okay, Prime, what do you think?
Oh yeah, totally overpowered. The top 109 running backs in the SML average 5 yards per carry or more. The top 60 running backs in the SML average 6 yards per carry or more. The average NFL yard per carry is around 4.5, and that's not even getting into like the top 32 running backs in the NFL, which average 7 yards per carry or more. So just about everyone's running back in the league is averaging at least 6.5 to 7 yards a carry. That's a first down every 2 runs. They aren't getting touched really. They're falling forward, and if they have a spin cycle, a jukebox, whatever, you turn their X factor on like Derrick Henry or Jonathan Taylor. They're automatically breaking tackles. It's insane. You couple that with guys cannot throw the ball for whatever reason. Even though they've dumbed down the user, the way defensive backs break on balls is causing guys to not be able to throw the ball as well. You see a lot of guys who are used to throwing seam routes down in between a cover 3 shell. They can't do it anymore, so they don't know what to do. So they're throwing a lot of picks. They're reverting to the run game, and they're just leaning on that. Last time I counted, over 24 running backs in the SML had a 90 overall or better. That's like 3/4 of the league with 90 overall running back or better. It's overpowered. And I think that if I knew this going in, I'd probably lower the XP progression for running backs like down to half, so we wouldn't have a 99 overall running back after the rookie season. But hey, we're in season 7; it's bound to happen. But guys are still rushing with 2,000 yards with bums as well, so it's just overpowered, and people can't throw the ball.
Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about it being broken, but I also see a lot of them being the same people that come out in 3-man fronts, 5 in the box, and then wonder why they can't stop the run. And maybe it's not all the game. Maybe it's the defensive meta, and why you're getting all those picks is because you have 8 guys in coverage.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example. I watched that Dan game when Dump steamrolled them. I think 27-0 or whatever it was. Dump for 3/4 of the game was going 3 down linemen the whole time against Dump. I mean, you're not going to stop Edens with 3 defensive linemen. But that's where Dan makes his money. 8 back, 3 on the line, and play coverage. And what Dan didn't think was going to happen was Dump playing the patient game, and he did. And that's how you beat Dan. But that's a good point. But also, you know, when they still fall forward and they still break a bunch of tackles, there's a lot to it. There's definitely a lot to it.
Oh, yeah. Sure. I just think there's a lot more than just people saying the run game's broken. You need to look at your defense sometimes, too.
Yes, I agree. All
right, so topic 3. Since you brought up Dump, and this is kind of a repeat from Total Access, but you guys talked about Dump and is he for real? And Dump fired back. He definitely thinks he's for real this season. So what do you guys think? Noel, we'll start with you.
I mean, I don't know if that's a rejuvenated Dump and he's playing exactly like he's always been. He had a lot of success in the end of the last cycle. Once he got Sestoff in the X Factor, and once he had his running back taken care of. I think Royce traded CMC last season near the end, and then he went crazy and started running the ball. CMC up to 99 immediately. I mean, he's done this before. He's playing more balanced this year. That makes sense considering he's the lead in passing this year as well. With Jalen Bates, Freddie George is a close behind, I think about 100 yards. So it looks like Dump will probably finish the year on top as number 1 passing leader this year with Jalen Bates. But he is passing about 3 or 4 for receivers, and he's running by committee this year as well. He's only given 150 yards and to Devion Evans this year. So he's playing patient, like Brian said, as well as pretty balanced this year. So I will give him credit. He looks like the best of this entire cycle, but he's shown this for past cycles. And he's never gone anywhere divisional before. So, I mean, I'm not bumping the fact that he's either on a Super Bowl or even go to the Super Bowl. I'm bumping the fact he's going to do the mutual dump thing at the end of the cycle and dominate.
All right. Figs, how about you? You've been around a while.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, he's actually the best, like, overall player I played in the SML. I know that's kind of crazy talk, but he usually plays. He can run the ball really well. He could pass it. He could play defense. But he still has improved. I think he only has one win in the playoffs this season, in this cycle. So until he proves otherwise, I don't know if he really has the ability to go over the top and win a somebody. I could see him winning maybe a playoff game, but I don't know. I feel like he's like pretty close to the best I play, but when it comes to the big game, I don't know if he's got what it takes.
Okay, so you think Dump's got some mental blocks that are keeping him from winning?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. And D-Muse, we'll go with you next.
I'm buying Dump. I'm paying attention to what he's doing. He's playing good football right now. His team is executing. He hasn't really had any eyebrow raisers here recently. It's a team that I might have to play in the playoffs, so I'm well aware and ready to play a game Dump. I think he's playing some really good football right now. And the good news for him, and I know he's had some playoff struggles, his biggest loss this year, he lost 42-7 to QP. And the way the standings are right now, they would be the 3 and 4 seed, which if the playoffs went chalk and the higher seeds won, he would not have to go into that matchup with QP. I don't think I watched that game, 42-7 beatdown, but based on the score, I assume that that's someone he would want to avoid. There might be something there where their styles just clash, so that could be good news for him. But definitely not taking Dump lightly in the NFC. I do think he's a real contender, and I think he can beat anyone right now.
All right. So I'm sure some of that has to do with the fact that you may end up playing him in the playoffs and don't want to give him any bulletin board material, but we'll move on to topic number 4. Topic 4.
Yeah.
Skipped.
Yeah, you skipped him.
I mean, it's Prime. Who cares? All right, we'll go back to Prime. Prime, what do you think?
Yeah, so here's the deal. I'm not like D Muse, who's afraid of giving someone bulletin board material. Sell Dump right now. People are talking high on him. Same old Dump, different season, different cycle. He always has a team that is great. Like Noel mentioned, he had Seth Stocker, Christian McCaffrey, a great receiver, DJ Shark last year, a great team last year. Couldn't make a Super Bowl, let alone win one. He couldn't make one. This season, this 49ers team is 87 or 88 overall, loaded defense, great running back, great tight end, good receivers. What's the excuse going to be this playoffs? You know, that's the question. Is it because he's coaching? Is it because there's a new woman in town? What's the excuse? That's my question. Because Dump ain't going to make it past the divisional round. You can take that to the bank. I would sell on Dump, pocket that profit, and go out of town. And put your monies, put your earnings into QP. That's how I see it in the NFC.
All right, so Prime's betting on QP. All right, topic 4, and this is going to be about Madden 22. But when it comes to Madden 22 and the new cycle, what has you most excited? And we'll start with you, Figs.
Mainly, I want to get a fresh start. I feel like I probably mismanaged my team the worst out of anyone. It'd be kind of nice to kind of learn from my mistakes, maybe hold on to some X factors. And I think I should be picking in the top 15 or so it's a little more options. So it'd be interesting to see what I get, see how bad I screw them up. So the fresh start will be nice. Also, I'm really curious who's going to take the Chiefs, because the Chiefs, I don't think they've been good like anyone in the last 2 cycles that I've been part of. I feel like maybe 6 wins is about as high as it's went. So I'm curious if someone good will take them. Maybe they'll fall to me. Maybe I'll win a somebody that way. Who knows? Probably not, but I'd be curious to see who takes the Chiefs and kind of just get in the fresh shot, see who I end up with.
All right. Prime, how about you?
Yeah, a few personal things I'm excited for next cycle is having good internet and being able to play a full cycle with good internet and obviously playing with Carson Wentz on the Colts. I think that'll be fun. Some members I'd like to see more out. I'd like to see Bomber his second true cycle in the SML. I know you played a little bit last year, but last season, or last cycle, but so I'd like to see some more of Dan. I would like to see if he's going to run from the AFC South again. As for the league, I think that as I get new internet, I'm excited for more commentated games. I know we're going to do it towards the end of this cycle, but really next cycle, I feel like we're gonna really do some cool things. So just a combination of things, and obviously I would like to see Dan in my division. I think that'd be fun, and I'm not sure if I'd lose a divisional game to Dan the whole time.
All right. D-Muse, this will be your first fresh cycle since
Yes, sir.
you came in midway. So how about you? What are you looking forward to? I assume probably most of all is going to be your chance to pick a team.
Yeah, you stole my answer there, Bomber. It's going to be my first cycle and the first full cycle in the SML, so that's really exciting. Build a team from the ground floor right away. I'm excited for some of the changes they've made. It looks like it'll be really more in depth. I think training is going to be more fun to do. It's going to take more thought provoking. It'll be harder to develop certain players. You're going to have to put more effort into it. I think the new scouting is going to be a big deal because the scouting now is kind of mindless. You just go in and hit the button, see the grades. So I'm excited for those changes in the game. It looks like they're actually putting effort into franchise, which is awesome to see. But yeah, I'm excited to see what team falls to me towards the end of that team draft, and I'm looking forward to building them into a winner.
All right. And Noel, as somebody who's probably been one of the more disappointing guys this cycle, what are you looking forward to next cycle?
Yeah, putting my personal goals aside next cycle, I'm most excited about the coaching changes, the franchise mode. I think that's something I've always on. As long as I can remember, I feel like we should at least be able to pick an offensive and defensive coordinators, and I'm glad we can finally do that again. I think they did like 10 or 9 was the last time I think it's been done. But that's pretty exciting for me, as well as the free agency changes. I just want to see the franchise mode, and obviously seeing it in the SML kind of as the test experience is going to be pretty intriguing. But as far as trying to get something in this division, I'm pretty sure that's where Faz is going if the Jaguars are still there. I'm interested to see what the AFC South looks like next year with Faz there. I definitely think it's going to be something similar to what Matt Bonner had here as well. But Faz has been pretty successful in the playoffs as well, no doubt on that. I think that's going to be some pretty interesting AFC championships, especially being in the same division. That's going to be crazier. But besides that, I'm excited for the washed-up players that, such as me, such as Grant, Warner, we can see for at least a cycle. And seeing if they can do a fresh start. Hopefully, Rams picks a new team instead of the Cowboys. And hopefully, Warner can get maybe something going again. We can see some of the G members that kind of came in and struggled with playing when I first got here, kind of get back to where they belong. Let's be career playing teams. So that's what I'm most excited about. Besides the personal hitting the reset button for me and really focusing on speed a lot more than I actually do the last 2 cycles. I mean, I walked into Angelo French being really fast last year, but even then last cycle, I was a really fast player besides Chris Godwin. And I didn't really have anybody fast, and learning to change and start using somebody different than another linebacker in the user room, which is something that I've had to do this year. I've just kind of started doing the past couple seasons. So I think that's something that just hitting the reset button and trying to figure out a new way of playing to be successful again, that I can do again. That's kind of the most exciting thing. That's all the personal reasons there.
All right. So a lot to be looking forward to, but that's going to do it for this week's show. And this week we've got a 3-way tie with Prime 60, D-Muse 60, and Noel 60. Unfortunately, that 3-way tie is for second place as Figs finishes with 61 points. Figs, you're this week's winner. These 30 seconds are all yours.
All right, I guess I'll use it to talk trash to Fins. I think I'm going to beat him. It's a lock deal. Lock it in. We're going to have a giveaway. If you DM me who you think is going to win, you could pick the Lions or you could pick me. If you get the right winner, I'm going to do a raffle. We'll give out a PlayStation plus for the year. The PlayStation Gold. That's what we'll do. You
All
pick
right.
the right winner. The only
All
way
right,
to do
so
it,
you
have
heard
to
it here
watch the
first.
show.
Hopefully,
You have to catch it on this show.
hopefully this airs prior to the game, but
Uh-oh.
otherwise everybody's going to be in the running. So,
All right.
Hey, Fig, I'll be making my pick with
Oh,
about
yeah,
2
one
minutes
more
left in the
thing.
fourth quarter.
Thank you for Prime. Turning the season around. Got Coach Stepp on the off season. Helped me out a little bit.
all right, well, that's been this week's episode of First
All
and Goal. Appreciate you guys being on. Figs, especially filling in for Tiny, who just completely bailed on the show, the league, and everyone who thinks anything about it.
Disappointing.
But all right, guys, that's it for this week. Till next week. This has been First and Goal.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.